Hey, what up, world? Hey, it's your boy Phantom. Hey, doing it like we always do it. Tonight is comedy night, so we're gonna get right into it. You know, the people that know me, they're always like, I can't believe that you jumped into the comedy game, because you're such an articulate, serious brother. But I always tell them I piss on a spark plug if it'll make an honest dollar. Like I said in that jam right there, ain't too many things that I haven't tried. Too often I had to put down the thing and ride to split these fools like Jekyll and Hyde. That's right. You know, I'm not into the gangster stuff, but I'm gonna just keep it real. We live in some tough times. I was looking at on CNN, there was this Chinese family that they were just devastated because their 21-year-old son had died. And it was their plans that their son would take care of them and provide for them in their elderly years. I don't know how that shit works in China, but it sure as hell don't work here in the U.S. You ain't relying on your kids to provide shit for you in your elderly years. So if you know like I know, you better get it in, do whatever you gotta do. If you gotta tell a couple jokes or whatever. I look at Steve Harvey, that brother got a talk show, he's got Family Feud, still doing his comedy thing, you know, doing very well. I don't know if one day I will reach that level of success in the comedy game, but I'm going to strive for it. So my brother Steve, watch your back, because I'm coming for you. I want your talk show. But anyway, I want to send a shout out to the military personnel in here tonight. I want to give them a hand, you know, for the sacrifices that they make to keep us safe so I can get up here and do stupid shit like I'm going to talk about tonight. So anyway, you know, much love to everybody. I'm going to put this disclaimer in real quick. Anything that I say, don't take it personal. I'm not talking about you directly. So, military community, the military wives, let's talk about them for a minute. Due to the fact that I live right here in the military community, and I see all the time that the soldiers' wives, the minute the damn soldier get on the plane, what does the wife do? Go in the back of the closet, you know, way back in the closet, that stuff she never wears when her husband is in town, and get this little tight mini out, put that on, and she's down at the bar, on top of the bar, you know, getting her groove on. I know everybody needs to let their hair down every now and then, but don't go out there and, you know, wild out too bad, shorty. Don't forget, you know, that soldier done put a ring on it. So don't be ducking your head over there in the chairs. I see you. I know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's not directed at you. It's all love. But my wife, when I was in the military, I spent quite a while in the military, and my wife, before I would deploy, I would put work in. I'm talking about like a month straight, make sure that she had everything she needed before I did, and I had everything that I needed. And so, you know, we never had any of those problems, thank God. But when I came back off my last deployment, you know, my wife's like, baby, we getting older. We don't really need to be having sex like that every night, all the time. I'm like, what? I just come back from almost getting my ass shot off. You know, hey, I want all that I can get. And so she's like, well, I just think we need to slow down. I'm like, look at you. You got all this UPS stuff coming up, and every time I try, I can't pull in the driveway because there's a UPS truck in the driveway. What has Brown done for you? I see what Brown doing for you, but Brown ain't doing jack for me. Matter of fact, that brown round that's what I need. I don't give a damn about no UPS truck. Get what you, if that's what you want, the UPS truck can keep on rolling. But I guarantee you, if you ain't taking care of baby boy, then ain't no UPS truck coming up in here. She's like, well, I'm gonna order my stuff, so, you know, you just need to accept we getting old. I said, okay, you can play this game. So when the UPS truck rolled up the next time, I was standing out in the driveway, mean mugging. I was like, look, when the dude jumped out the truck, he had boxes stacked about this wide, that high. I'm like, nah, homie, you ain't coming up in here with none of that. He's like, I gotta make my delivery. I'm like, you ain't delivering nothing here today, player. I'm telling you, man, I just got back from combat, man. You don't want it. You don't want it, bro. You need to bounce. This dude jumped in his truck, haul ass. Every time when I would see him coming down the street, I'd go stand at the porch. Dude kept on rolling. So after a couple of weeks, my wife's like, I ordered quite a bit of stuff and nothing has been delivered. Have you seen anything delivered? Do you know what happened to my stuff? I'm like, I don't know nothing. She's like, really? I said, look, like I told you before, if there ain't no Brown round, ain't no Brown doing nothing up in here. Brown ain't doing nothing for you today. Anyway, you gotta love it. You know, my wife and I, we got those years in together, so, you know, we can do that. So the military, you know, it's a difficult organization. You make a lot of sacrifices. When I was downrange, one good thing that I saw, that in today's military, all this sexual harassment and so forth, we didn't have those problems. We had soldiers, male soldiers, who would look out for the female soldiers, and we always covered down and made sure that nobody bothered them. One of the units that I was assigned had a Iraqi prison right across the the grounds where we were, and when the female soldiers would walk by, the Iraqi soldiers, you know, would try to make gestures at them and talk a whole bunch of noise to them, tell them that they wasn't about nothing, and, you know, that Allah wouldn't bless them and so forth, so on. And it offended and upset some of the females, so we tried to cover down for them. We had this one little private named Private J. We used to call him Big J. I'll come back to that in a minute. But anyway, when the Iraqis would, you know, make these gestures and so forth, Big J, he would walk over. You know, he was actually a little small guy, but for good reason we called him Big J. So he'd walk over to the Iraqis and just stare at them and let them know, you know, leave my female soldiers alone. And so this went on for a while. And so we were in the TOC one night, TOC, Tactical Operations Center, and Big J was like, hey, you know what? What we need to do is just go over there, put our dicks on the desk, and see who's the bigger man, and we'll shut all that down. And so we already knew Big J was the bigger man, even though he was only about 5'6". You know, we were showering downrange, and this brother was in the shower, and the brother, if there was ever anybody that could enter a three-leg race by himself, it was this cat. Actually, this brother had his joint and had like a kickstand off to the side, so he could actually lean off on his joint and, you know, stand independently supported. So, you know, the brother was very smart, you know, straightforward, and he went over and he talked to one of the big Iraqi prisoners, and who happened to have been a senior officer in Saddam's army. I think he was more or less like one of the strong men for Saddam. And so he talked to him, gave him a couple packs of cigarettes, and said, look, you know, keep them dudes in check. They bother my female soldiers. And so the big Iraqi officer, he had those dudes stripped down from out of their robes down into their drawers. And as you know, if you know anything about the Iraqi society, their men are very prideful, and having a man stand in his drawers in front of a female is not anything that they are too excited about. So once they stripped down in their drawers, we were standing around looking at them, and they were so ashamed, so they would turn their back, and obviously then they wouldn't say anything to our female soldiers. But unfortunately, when they turned their back, they had shit stains all up their drawers, and because they wasn't like they were getting no issue of clean drawers every other day, so you got these grown-ass Iraqi prisoners standing there with shit stains up their drawers, you know, so it was quite hilarious. But unfortunately, we had to go to the chow hall past the prison, and every time you come back past the prison, you know, you see these, you know, 150 Iraqi prisoners with shit stains up their back, and you about to, you know, barf, because you walking by, you just got done eating your dinner meal, going back to the top. So the only thing that I could do, I was the first sergeant at that particular unit. I lined up 5-ton trucks across the whole front of the prison so I could block, so you wouldn't see into the prison and see the prisoners anymore, because I wasn't trying to puke up my damn chow every time I came back from the chow hall in the evenings. So it was quite hilarious, but we actually experienced a lot of things that were very difficult dealing with the Iraqi society. We had heard tales of stories that the airport director, that Saddam and his sons were so ruthless that they actually would see a woman and demand that woman's presence for their own pleasure. And in this particular instance, Saddam was touring the airport and he saw the airport director's wife, which was a beautiful Iraqi lady or woman, and so he demanded that she be brought back to one of his palaces so that he could have his way with her. And the Iraqi director of the airport just flipped out, but what could you do? You know, if you stood up against Saddam, he was going to put you down, plain and simple. So if you wanted to live, you had to keep your mouth shut and deal with it. So when I hear the Iraqi soldiers talk about and the suicide bombers talk about, you know, that they want to die in honor and a suicide bombing and go to heaven and meet Allah and receive 1,000 virgins. To me, the idea of 1,000 virgins is not anything that I would be interested in. However, I could imagine that if you knew that your women, your wife, you know, has been violated by someone in this manner, that's the only way in Iraq you were going to get a virgin is, you know, to die and go to heaven and get it, because Saddam and his sons, they were some nasty low-down cats that was just, you know, had the spoils of the whole nation to their own desire. And so I heard that Uday, one of Saddam's sons, his sons were Uday and Qusay, that they basically would see you out in a pair of shoes and make you take your shoes off if you were out in a social setting or a political setting. They didn't want you to wear the same shoes they had. When we invaded, one of Saddam's sons had over 100 you know, luxury exclusive vehicles, from Ferraris and Lamborghinis to Maseratis to you name it. And because he didn't want those vehicles to fall into the hands of the American forces and their allies, he had them all burnt and destroyed before we invaded. And so, you know, these were some sick individuals. And that's why I feel that when we did invade, the first thing that their citizens did, the men especially, went and raided all of Saddam's palaces, and they were ripping the gold faucets out of the washrooms and, you know, facilities. And so basically they were like, hey, you steal my gold, I'm gonna steal your gold, was the bottom line. So you know, it was quite interesting how things played out. But I know right now, you know, never in a million years did Saddam's sons think that we were going to have the might to come in and take their asses out the way that we did. And I know right now that they are looking up from hell and wondering what hit them, you know. So you ever see that commercial where the little kid, his mom is sitting on the park bench and she's pregnant, and he looks at her and he's like, so you say there's a baby in there? How did that happen? You know? So basically that's probably what Saddam's sons are like, how the hell did that happen? How quick we hit them and destroyed everything that they represented. When, not to linger on this subject, but when I remember going into Iraq, we came through Kuwait, and when we first got into the country, there were just children that were hungry in rags. And as we proceeded on to Baghdad, I just thought to myself, what the hell are we doing here? There is nothing here to resist us. There is, you know, little infrastructure whatsoever. But when we got into Baghdad, on the outskirts actually, and you started to see the gold and bronze rooftops of these large edifice structures, then you understood exactly what was going on. And so the first mission the commanders had was to bust up the floor that had Bush Sr.'s face in one of the floors into one of the palaces. So George Bush Jr., W., sent a jackhammer with the special forces to bust up this floor so that he could remove his father's face out of the floor, because every time that his generals went into the palace for a staff meeting, they wiped their feet on George Bush Sr.'s face. So I would hate to think that we started a damn war just to get Bush's ugly ass face up out of the floor over there. But who knows? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Not to disrespect our former president, other than the fact that I don't know what the hell he did or what the hell his son did, because George W. sat his ass in the White House for like the whole last year, didn't do nothing. You know, they complain and talk about the Obama administration, that Obama is trying to derail the country and so forth, so on. And but no one complained when Bush was sitting up in the White House chilling and Cheney was out there shooting people and shit. You know, where were the complaints at that time? I will applaud Barack Obama, or President Barack Obama. I will applaud him for the fact that he is trying to do something. I don't care if you fuck up some stuff. As long as you trying some shit, I'm happy with you. You know, even if it don't work, just as long as I know that you trying something. Now, the Affordable Health Care Act, it is too big, too important to clown on, so I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to respect that, because there are a lot of people, when you go to the hospital and you can't be treated and you're sick, if I got a little rash on my damn arm, I don't know about you, I'm going to be scratching till I scratch a damn hole in it. So if I can't see a doctor and find out what's going on, that's just for a rash. So if you got heart problems, any of those serious medical issues, then it is very important for you to be able to get the treatment that you need. So I take my hat off to this brother, because actually in years to come, he will be perceived, or the reality will be that he was a visionary. He did something that no one else was able to do. The last time anyone really took a serious swing at it was Eleanor Eisenhower. And so, you know, Bill Clinton, he had initiatives and tried to do things with the healthcare bills and so forth and try to balance it out, but he wasn't able to get it done. So I take my hat off to Barack. But all these folks, such as Michelle Bachmann, talking about impeaching Barack Obama, you know, I don't understand for the life of me, what the hell is a Tea Party anyway? You know, go have you some damn tea and stay the hell out of politics, because you obviously don't have a clue as to what it requires to run a government. Sarah Palin, she a pimp though. You got to give her props, because she pimped the hell out of her supporters. You know, she's sitting somewhere, got her a big yacht out there in Alaska, sitting out on the lakes and, you know, doing her thing. I think she made $10-20 million, you know, so she went from being a broke governor to a multi-millionaire simply with the support of these backwood ass people who are sitting there talking about, oh, I don't support President Obama's initiatives. Well, you're using them same benefits. Really, little did they realize the same thing that they were saying, pull the plug on. They're the first ones in damn line. You know I'm telling the truth. And if any of y'all out there are Tea Partiers, I'm just calling it like I see it. You can tell me that I'm wrong, but until you can show me in black and white different, I can show you in black and white that you are utilizing the same services. When Mitt Romney talking about 47 percenters, he were talking about IASs, military personnel, you know, folks drawing Social Security, retirees in general. Anyone getting a military or federal pension, basically, this rich fucker thought that we shouldn't be tapping into those benefits, although that we have paid and earned those benefits. We paid into the Social Security system and are entitled these benefits. So if you think for 1 minute that these rich elitists are concerned with your best interest, then you are totally mistaken. So anyway, the bottom line is, you know, we just got to keep it real. Stop pointing fingers. Michelle Bachmann, go sit your ass down somewhere. I know that when Hillary gets in office, and Michelle Bachmann, Sarah Palin, all these folk, they think that they have a shot. The only female potential president that we have is Hillary Clinton. That's why they keep bringing up this Benghazi stuff, because they want to eliminate any possibility of her actually stepping in that office. And Bill already sitting back, can't wait to get his ass back in the White House. And I know what Bill thinking. He's like, yeah, Michelle, she can come on and get up under the desk and, get down there and take care of some business for me. So I know that former President Bill Clinton, he's already got a plan to be back up in the White House real soon. And so when he get up in there, I know he's going to be calling Michelle Bachmann up to the Oval Office and do a little politicking, if you know what I mean. And when his wife's in there, he's going to, Clinton getting on up there into that, realm of age where I think at some point in time, he's going to have one of those, how did that happen, moments himself, when he find out, when they tell him, you're in the White House, Mr. Clinton, but you're no longer president. Your wife's president. How did that happen? I damn guarantee you that Bill ain't going to be able to correlate to, I'm just here as a husband this time around. But as far as those issues of age and, political figures, Joe Biden, that cat, you saw when during the inauguration, he's running up and down Pennsylvania Avenue trying to show his youth. He done had the facelift and everything, but it's unfortunate. They ain't gonna let Joe ass up in there as no president. That crazy uncle that you have that just say all kind of dumb shit. You can't, predict what this cat is gonna say. So I could see him sitting down talking to some of our foreign dignitaries and just say some off the wall shit like, yeah, he should just blow him up. The first thing comes to this cat mind, he lets it rip. So I give him props to that because he's a man's man. He speaks his mind. He don't try to, decipher and put it out there politically correct, what have you. But that shit just don't make for a good president. Not at all. And so these cats, Romney and, Big Krispy Kreme, Chris Christie, they said he had bypass or some lap band or something done, but he must be done ate through all that shit because last time I saw him, right after he was re-elected governor in New Jersey, that cat looked like he put on about another 50 pounds. And so this cat, Rob Ford, the mayor in Toronto, Canada, this cat, I don't really know what the hell his issue is, but some people don't even need to say the word politics. Bill was like, I smoked a little marijuana, but I didn't inhale. But this cat is like, I smoke crack, but I'm not a crack addict. If you smoke crack and your ass in office as a mayor and you decide to smoke crack, you got some problems. I don't know if you're a crack addict or not, but that's some bad decision making or some poor judgment. So your ass definitely aren't, mayor material. Deal with it. But love your husbands, love your female soldiers who are downrange, the breadwinner, taking care of business while their husbands are back, taking care of the kids. Our military soldiers and service members in general, we can't thank them enough. We could never thank them enough for the sacrifices that they make for our country, for our safety, for our livelihood. So many people take for granted, and we don't need to do that. The military pays great dividends for the freedoms that we enjoy. So let's always remember, never take our military for granted. They make grave sacrifices for our way of life. Always remember, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a blessing. That is why it's called the present. This is your boy Phantom with much love, as we always do. Peace, we're out.